Everyday KT number 203. No, Kayla, I didn't start with hey folks, it's KT. Ha ha ha. Anyway, today we're talking about consequences and assumptions. Consequences because it's very appropriate today. For those of you who are of age and understand alcohol, you know that the old adage, beer before liquor, never been sicker, liquor before beer, you're in the clear, is more often than not pretty true. And that if you're out and about doing fun shenanigans, you tend to stick to one flavor, one style of whatever. Well, when you go and do it backwards, you wind up feeling like you got run over by a truck the next day, regardless of how much you actually had. So be careful with what you're doing. And if you're out having beer and somebody says, oh, hey, this is a really good scotch, you're like, yeah, well, maybe not, because your stomach might not be happy with you the next day. I know mine sure as hell wasn't this morning. When the groom from last night's wedding, we were, after everything was over, went out to one of the local bars with our friends, and he's like, oh, I love scotch. I was like, and things went down from there. So that's why you've got the Gatorade today, because those things don't mix too well. Alrighty, so consequences and the assumptions and the consequences of your assumptions. So I was reading something today about someone who was given a discount at a store that was not, she didn't think it was appropriate or whatever. I'm not going to get into the details. But, and of course, there was this big long tirade or discussion or whatever about how the employee needs to be retrained or all of these negative things. But I don't know if that employee was ever actually asked why they got the discount. In my experience, I've gotten discounts many, many times for things that have absolutely nothing to do with me, just because I happen to be nice to the person behind the counter. Or maybe they were trying to get my attention for one reason or another. Who knows? It does happen an awful lot. And my take on it is this. If someone that you're going to do business with, coffee, breakfast, whatever, decides to offer you a discount, take it. Because obviously, for some reason, they decided that they wanted to give you the discount. So I'm going to take it every single time. Don't think it's some kind of bashing you or some kind of assumption that you're this or you're that or whatever the silliness might be. They're being nice to you. I mean, and if they're, they think something else, well then, so be it. That's them. But you should never assume that they have some kind of alternative interpretation of you in whatever way, without, especially people who don't know you. They don't know who you are. They don't know how old you are. They don't know what you do, where you are, where you live, if you were this or that or whatever else. They want to give you a discount, fine, take it. I don't know about you, but cheaper stuff is generally good. So those assumptions can get you in trouble, because what happens? Well, if you make a bold assumption like that, where someone you think that somebody's out to get you for whatever reason, when in reality they were just being nice, but you don't talk to them, all of a sudden you can rustle up the keyboard warriors out there who love to rip anybody a new one from their laptop or tablet or phone, and they start going crazy over whatever it might be for no reason at all. Kid behind the counter was just being nice, and all of a sudden they're the Antichrist, just because of an assumption. So be very cognizant of the things that you say and how you say them, because an assumption that you make, accurate or not, if you convert that into an accusation, there will be consequences, because people will believe that and say that it was some kind of mom and pop shop, and this comment was made, and all of a sudden they start getting bad reviews, they start getting harassed, they start getting phone calls because of an assumption. They start losing business, and all of a sudden they may make one of the greatest breakfast sandwiches in the universe, but because of an assumption and a poorly worded and a bad decision to criticize them for what was a benevolent action, they're out of business. That does happen. Hey, Chris. Yes, assuming. So that's why, Chris Gulick says assuming is bad. And that's why I talk about it all the time. Making an assumption without education is little more than a guess. And guessing, unless you're taking the SATs, Even then, guessing is bad. That the SATs are actually the only place I know where guessing you can still actually get credit. But anyway, guessing instead of being informed is bad. So make sure that when you're talking to these people or you're out experiencing something, you're having a good time, and you get some kind of a benefit of whatever reason, take it at face value. Don't sit there and try to analyze why you got it and the person behind you didn't, or all of this other crap. Take it for what it is. Somebody gives you a donut, take it. It's a donut. It's not some kind of you need more food, you're too skinny, or you need to go whatever. Stop assuming that everybody's out to get you. Because if you do, you're going to be miserable because you're always going to be looking over your shoulder, trying to figure out why they're always doing this, even though they're not. So, assumption's bad. Personally, professionally, and every other where, assumption's bad. I'm going to keep it short tonight because my girlfriend and kids just got home from a laser light show, and apparently there was some misbehavior, so I have to go figure out what that's all about. I'm going to grab a Kiltology. Let's go with Volume 2. Well, okay, so we're talking about free donuts. Let's get going. Hey, Carl, welcome back. Hey, Carl, good job. Nice. So, talking about assumptions and food and free stuff at breakfast. So, guess what? Open it up. Boom. Kiltology number 353. Donuts. It is a little known fact that donuts were actually invented by Scottish lasses. They learned that if they could make these delicious treats very easily and feed them to kilties, the kilties are then slowed down dramatically after eating a few, making it far easier for the lasses to catch their elusive prey. Of course, it backfired on the lasses, as some of the kilties enjoyed so many donuts, they had little desire to do much else than sit around. Modern lasses now spend more time trying to motivate their kilties to get off the couch instead of giving them the sport of the chase. So what does that mean? Lasses made an assumption. They're like, oh, these guys like donuts. Let's give them donuts. They'll like us more. It'll slow them down. They assumed that because they were going to give these guys donuts, that they would be easier to catch, yet still desirable. Backfired because they didn't realize, well, if you give somebody something that's really good, they're going to stop doing what they were doing and work with the stuff that's good. So don't make assumptions because it backfired on them. It backfires all the time. And with that, I'll let you go. It's Saturday night. Go shenaniganize. Have a good time. Go out and enjoy life with your friends, family, and maybe random strangers at some whatever you're at. But go out there. Have an awesome time. And be strong. Put a kilt on.